For this example, let's turn this small space into a kitchen. Many items, such as appliances like refrigerators or dishwashers, can be placed simply by choosing the component and placing it in the model. Let's open the Component tool in the Home tab and place a dishwasher using the first floor plan view. Now let's find an appropriate refrigerator and place that in the model. Finally, let's choose a sink and place the sink into the model. Now we will switch to a 3D view, and it is easy to see that we have a good start to our kitchen. However, at this point in the process, it may be necessary to make custom fitting components such as countertops in order to complete the model. To make custom components, open the Model in Place tool. Now, let's search for a family category that fits the component we are going to make. We can select Show Categories from all disciplines for more options. Since we are making a counter, let's choose Furniture Systems. Now we will name the new component. Let's call it Kitchen Counter. Now in this mode, notice that we are unable to select any other components that are in the model. We are now ready to create forms for our Model in Place component. Once we are in the In Place editor, we can select a type of form that we want to create. We can choose extrusion, blend, revolve, sweep blends, or void form. To make the countertop, let's make an extrusion. To create an extrusion, start by sketching the footprint of the extrusion. Remember, extrusions don't have to come up from the ground. Instead, we can choose a new work plane and make the form come out from the wall. Using the same form, we can make two unconnected extrusions that follow the same properties, like this one around the sink. When the sketch is complete, we can set the properties of the extrusion. We will set the top to be 3 feet and the bottom to be 2 feet 10 inches high. This will give us a 2-inch thick countertop. We can also choose the material. In the Materials dialog, let's choose a tile countertop. When we are finished, we can select the green check mark to complete the form. And in a 3D view, we can more clearly see the form that we have just made. If we are happy with the Model in Place component, we can select Finish Model in order to exit the In Place editor. We are now able to select other components again. We can also select the component we just created and make minor changes like adjusting the extents. To make major edits to a Model in Place component, select it and choose Edit in Place, which will take us back to the Edit in Place mode. Once we are in this mode, we can select the extrusion form and edit that. You can now see that it is important to realize that a single component is made of many different forms, and each form is edited separately. For this extrusion, let's change one of the boundary lines to create a curved countertop. When finished, select the check mark to complete the form. And we can switch to a 3D view to see this change. Since we are still in the in-place editor, we can also add new forms to the component. Let's start by adding a base to the sink's countertop. Sketch the footprint. And set the properties. This time, we'll want the base to go from the ground to the bottom of the countertop. Let's also change the material and pick a wood finish for the base. When we are finished, we can select the green check mark to complete the form, and in the 3D view, we can see our new extrusion. Once again, we are still in the in-place editor, so let's go ahead and add a sweep to the edge of the countertop. First, we will pick a path for the sweep. Let's select the edges of the counter. Then, we will select the green check mark when we are finished sketching the path. Now to make it easier to draw the sketch, let's change the view to look straight on to the crosshair. Next, select Edit Profile, or we can also load in a profile. This opens all of our drawing tools, and using the drawing tools, we can sketch a profile that will be swept along the chosen path. After making a closed loop sketch, we can change the sweep properties, such as giving it a material, and when finished, select the green check mark. Since we have now selected a path and drawn the sweep profile, we can select the next green check mark to complete the sweep. Now let's change our perspective to more clearly see the sweep we have just created. If we are satisfied with the component, we can select the green check mark to exit the in-place editor.
Okay, after rendering this one, you probably many things can be done easily by simply, if you make this one best, no matter how lousy setting you have, your rendering will look good. Bad thing, it will take really long. So all you have to do, so kind of my suggestion, if you're busy with your modeling, just finish your modeling in Revit and then just render this one, and then just finish other, plan designing or your physical model making. And then if you're okay, and then I'll just use default one. And then if you want to render really high quality, large size, high quality printing, simply change this setting to printer. Currently, this one is set as about 2 meter and 2 meter and 150 dpi. If you increase to 600 dpi, and actually you see that uncompressed image size 13 gigabyte, I'm expecting that this will take a couple of days. But it will have very nice rendering setting. And actually, I think the 300 dpi also looks good. So actually, and then actually the image size will be 3 gigabytes, which also take one day or two. Yes.
But can you just send it to the cloud?
Yes. Okay. So I will explain that one too. But and then also for lighting is also critical. So I just use screen today because to demonstrate all different settings quickly. In lighting, for exterior, please use sun only. For interior, based on my experience, interior sun and artificial lighting always has the best result. And here, so of course you can change the sky condition. I would do. It doesn't really change that much, so I would not bother by it. One other important one is actually this one, image, adjust exposure. So in Rabbit, in Rhino rendering and other 3ds Max rendering, you preset brightness, camera setting before you render. In Rabbit, it comes after. So what you have to do is after you render roughly and actually change your brightness here, exposure value, which is like similar thing with focal f number in camera. And then what you have to do, change the number, and then you need to click apply. Then you see that this one's a little bit brighter, and probably highlights a little bit darker probably to remove the highlight. And I would a little bit dark. So you have to actually play with this one to increase the mid-tone. I would make mid-tone a little bit brighter, not much. So I just reduce that a little bit dark. And then shadow, it's up to you, lighter or darker. White point and saturation. Actually, probably I would a little bit reduce the saturation a little bit because I don't kind of. Okay, so these kind of. So again, remember that parameter setting comes after you render it, not before. Yeah, the sky, interior, sun, and artificial. Yes. Okay, then probably you want to save this view somewhere in your Rabbit, and then actually you probably every time you change your parameter, you may want to save it. So actually next time, or you may pick the best one.
So the lighting, sun, and artificial is the exterior.
Just sun only, exterior.
Interior was the sun and artificial.
Yeah. I will explain once we will switch to interior rendering. And then here, save to project. If you click this one, will this ask your name? Okay, so that's that this one is exterior test 01. And if you click OK, you see that here under rendering setting, it will be saved here. And let's say that if I change this one to, I will just stop at this one. If you change another view, for example, I go back to 3D view, and then, what did I do?
Whoa.
Okay, so I probably change a little bit about a pan or angle, and then I'll probably render again. And then if you so you may want to save your rendering whenever you change view angles or some settings.
Could you repeat how to save the rendering?
Huh?
Could you repeat how to save the?
Yeah, so I will do it again. So go to under image,
Yeah.
save to project. And if you click it, it will ask you the name. I will say this one is exterior test 02, and then save it. So this one is actually, so all the parameters will be saved here. So if you go to this one is exterior 2, this one is exterior 1, and let's see some other examples that Rabbit Autodesk did. So this one is approach, and from yard, kitchen, living room. So this one, you can actually think that this one is the best rendering you can get from Rabbit. And unfortunately, yeah, do you like it?
I like the other one better. That's
Yeah, so this one, if you do it with the best setting, you do have something like this. Just it'll take very, very long. Okay, but unfortunately, what the Rabbit does not show you is, as you see that here, you cannot go back to render button, meaning that you can save it, but actually you cannot really you can extract the parameter setting from the image. That's the bad thing about Rabbit. You got that? So actually I recommend you write down somewhere. Okay, so again, and then if you want to, actually you have you test a lot, and okay, so I will cut it here. So this one is